Hey, hey. In the last video, I shared my recipe for adaptogen chai. And at the end of that video, I mentioned that I use it as the base for my rainbow tea. And this is the video about the rainbow tea. So, yes, every morning I make this for myself. It's wonderful. I'm going to tell you all about it. Here's my basket of supplies. And I use a Vitamix. I think a Vitamix is important if you want to use the seeds. We'll get into the seeds. But a Vitamix will blend all of these ingredients up until it's totally smooth. If you're good with like chunks and pieces, you could use a regular blender, or if you're not into the seeds and maybe you don't care. But for me and for the seeds, the Vitamix is key. Okay, so I do a scoop of collagen, multi-collagen, protein. This supports skin, hair, nail, and joint health. It's very important that animal products come from pasture-raised animals. So this is grass-fed. Grass-fed. Somebody gave me a bag of flax seeds a few weeks ago, and so I started using a teaspoon of flax, a heaping teaspoon. Here's my teaspoon. I just keep it in the basket. So I've been doing a heaping teaspoon of flax. It's been great. Hasn't bothered me. I don't know if I'll go get more and keep it up. Maybe. Mucuna pruriens powder. So I have to be careful with this stuff. This is a precursor, it supports precursors for dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of pursuit and reward. So I feel like most people have a taxed dopamine system in our like very overstimulating society. People who are dopamine driven might feel very supported by having Mucuna pruriens in their regimen. I'm not a dopamine driven person, so too much of this makes me feel jittery and really uncomfortable. However, I have been engaging in some activity that feels like would be supported by having a little bit more access to dopamine. And so I've been putting just the very tiniest bit of this in my rainbow tea. Like literally maybe like an 80th of a teaspoon, like just the like little tippy corner of this. So you could try Mucuna pruriens. If you know you're dopamine driven, they say take a teaspoon. Oh my God, no, not good for me. Too much. Jittery and uncomfortable. Maca powder. Maca is a root, a South American root. It is an adaptogen. It supports stamina and physical strength and attention and focus. Maca, yes. Bilberry extract. So you can see that nice purple color. This is a superfood concentrate extract powder. I used to just use bilberries, which is fine if you can get them, and this stuff is great. It's a 10-to-1 extract, so I do a teaspoon of this. This is a very high in antioxidants, and it's specific for the capillaries in the eyes. I know that sounds crazy, like it supports the cardiovascular system, and then it supports the capillaries, but like really specifically, it supports the capillaries in the eyes. I am blind in one eye, so I really like to support my vision any way I can. And this has been a lifelong ally for me. So, bilberry supports night vision. Night vision. They kind of discovered its medicinal use when I think it was World War II fighter pilots from the U.S. were in Europe flying, and their vision, and they tested their vision all the time, and their vision was like improving. And they were like, "What is going on?" And it turns out they were eating bilberry jam on their scones. I don't know how they tracked that down. Anyhow, I love bilberry. I think it's great. Ooh, Mushroom Harvest 14 Mushroom Blend Powder. I like this company. It used to be in my hometown near my folks, which is how I found out about it. And then they moved to, I think, Washington State, where mushrooms grow really well. So this, I think they do an excellent job. They extract each mushroom to its specifications and then mix them together. 1 teaspoon of mushroom powder, 14 mushroom blend powder. So this has reishi, number 1. I love reishi. I would add extra reishi if I had it. I don't have it. Cordyceps. chaga, missima, lion's mane, turkey tail, maitake, shiitake, blaze eye, poria, agarikon, suhirotaki. I don't even know that one. Oyster mushroom, true tinder polypore. Okay, so I'm a big fan of the medicinal mushrooms. They are adaptogenic. They are deep immune tonic. So they support immunity at the level of like preventing cancer. Good stuff. And I'm sure you've heard of lots of those mushrooms and they're all kind of good for different things, brain health and on and on. So I just like to have that as like part of my baseline intake, nutrient intake. Lucuma. Lucuma is something that comes and goes out of my basket. Sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. It's a fruit. It's a delightful low sugar sweetener, but it's very high in minerals. Very high in minerals, which is why I like to add it in. It has a mineral profile that's probably different from the other minerals that I take in. And I think I found a solid foundation of a good mineral supplement, and mineral profile is really important for overall health in the modern age. So lucuma is high in minerals. Oh, lion's mane for cognitive function and brain health. So this is not always in the basket, but I decided to add extra. So I'm doing, in addition to the teaspoon of the 14 mushroom blend, I'm doing like 1/3 of a teaspoon of lion's mane these days. Okay, more seeds. Black sesame. Black sesame really supports big K kidney, Jing, vitality, longevity, really supportive. And brown sesame. And sesame is high in phytoestrogens, very important, and high in minerals, very important. Minerals, phytoestrogens, and then there's protein and fat. There's some protein and fat in there. And speaking of protein and fat, I also have hemp hearts, hemp seed hearts, omega-3s in there. So a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of each of the seeds. And then, ooh, I have some shilajit powder that, even though it has a little desiccant package in here, you know, eventually soaks up some moisture and gets kind of crunchy. I do maybe like 1/4 of a teaspoon or 1/8 of a teaspoon of shilajit. Shilajit is the exudate of the rocks in the Himalayan mountains. It's literally like mineral juice oozing up out of the rocks. So another mineral supplement. There's fulvic and humic acid and lots of minerals in that. Bee pollen is something that comes and goes from my basket. I have mixed feelings about it. It's not really great for bees to take their pollen, so that sucks. But it's really high in B vitamins and copper. And copper is a hard supplement to get enough of unless you're eating lots of organ meats. Organ meats and bee pollen are where a lot of copper is available. I do eat some organ meats, but not a lot. So, you know, once this is gone, I'll probably give it a rest. Give those bees a rest. Okay, tocotrienols is rice bran solubles, and they're very high in vitamin E. And vitamin E is necessary for cellular regeneration and elasticity. So, and they're delicious. Oh, I do like a heaping tablespoon of tocotrienols. Delicious, kind of creamy, vanilla-y. Oh, sigh, Dandy Blend. I love Dandy Blend so much. I usually do like a flat or rounded tablespoon of Dandy Blend. However, lately I've realized it was causing a little too much heat in my system, so I'm taking a break from the Dandy Blend. It is very heating. If you have like a cold, debilitated system, Dandy Blend would be beneficial. It's also less heating than coffee. So, and similar in vibe. It's like dark and rich and kind of savory and bitter, and goes great with milk or cream and honey or whatever you like to do. If you want to switch from coffee, trying to get off coffee, Dandy Blend is a good option for weaning off of coffee. But then, you know, just be mindful that if it's causing too much heat, you might want to back off. Oh, so I'm off the Dandy Blend currently, but it's still in the basket because it's coming back. Okay, what else? So all of that with 16 ounces of adaptogen chai in the Vitamix is 1 serving. Here's my cup. However, if you just whir all that up and pour it in your cup, it is not very tasty. Oh, and we're missing a very key ingredient, which is a nice healthy serving of fat. So I put 1 date. I have been liking the Deglet dates because they're smaller. If I'm going to use a medjool date, I'll usually split it in half. If you like a sweeter beverage, you might do a whole medjool date or 2 Deglet dates. So I put 1 date, a big pinch of salt, and about a tablespoon of grass-fed butter or ghee. I haven't been able to get my hands on the unsalted butter I want to make the ghee, so I've been using butter, but if I can get that unsalted butter, I'll make the ghee again. Either way, grass-fed butter or ghee, a big tablespoon of that, and then it is delicious. Oh, one more ingredient that comes and goes, it's not here right now, is grass-fed whey. Grass-fed whey. And I found just a little bit. I think the recommendation on the bag was like 2 tablespoons. Ugh, no. I think it was like a heaping teaspoon of grass-fed whey that I was doing, and that it tasted good and it felt right. So the benefit of grass-fed whey, and the reason that I sometimes add it in, is that it supports the body to produce glutathione. When you have grass-fed whey in the morning, the body, the liver is more supported to produce glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. So it's really important. And another bonus of the grass-fed whey is it makes the drink even frothier. So if you like a latte, you'll probably like this drink. Even without the whey from the Vitamix, there's a nice frothy foam head on it, and then I sprinkle cinnamon all over the top, and it's delicious and fun and pretty. And I was actually inspired to make this video because a friend came over and she was like talking about trying to get off coffee and asking me what I did, and I was like, well, I do rainbow tea, and she was like, what's that? Anyway, she reported back that the rainbow tea has really helped, and she is off coffee. She got off coffee using, like, switching to rainbow tea, and it's like hot and delicious, and you know, it provides energy, but it provides energy from a grounded place, whereas coffee just sort of juices the adrenals and makes you like excrete extra adrenaline. And yeah, I think especially long term, coffee and caffeine in general, not the best plan for longevity and having natural energy. So rainbow tea will really support having natural energy, and I find that that's my breakfast at around 10, and I don't need to eat, you know, I eat lunch at like, I don't know, 12 or 1. So that is how I do it. Rainbow tea for the win. If you found this helpful and you want more support with your self-care, you are welcome to snag the free Get Your Shit Together checklist. I will link it in the description below this video. Thank you for your time, energy, and attention. I hope this serves you deeply. Blessings on your way.